Hi everyone. In this lesson, we will together practice skimming and scanning using a reading passage about internet penetrations, taken from an article by Brad Johnson on systemexperts.com. You will be shown, as was illustrated in the previous lesson, how skimming guides and facilitates the process of scanning. In other words, scanning based on skimming. You can look at the given passage, which is uploaded to you on our site. We will start showing and skimming it paragraph by paragraph. We know that skimming is a step through which we dissect or anatomize the passage to extract the main ideas as well as their organization. First, the title, Internet Penetrations, Profiles of an Attacker, Insider, tells us about illegal internet attacking accesses. And at the end of the title, we have between parentheses the word insider, which may tell us that the attacks or penetrations are from inside as opposite to outside. Then we skim the first paragraph, which is here the introduction. The first sentence in the paragraph says, despite all of the attention to attacks from the internet, most successful attacks happen from inside your own network. The idea here is that most successful attacks on one's network are from inside. The last sentence in the paragraph shows us the reason for these successful attacks, which is too much trust among users, systems, and services. From this sentence, we expect that there will be 3 paragraphs that respectively illustrate how trust among users, systems, and services can lead to successful attacks on a network. Although this expectation is logical, but let's continue skimming and see whether our expectation is correct or not. We move now to the following paragraphs and read the first sentence in the second paragraph. It says, the problem with this trust is twofold. Which trust? It is the trust among users, systems, and services. And what do we mean by twofold? It means binary or has 2 parts. And if we skim by reading through the paragraph very quickly, we notice the words or connectors first and second, which emphasize that the 2 parts of the problem are discussed. Therefore, we discern that this paragraph discusses the trust problem. What about the third paragraph? If we have a look at it, it is made up of 2 sentences. And the first sentence, as you notice, is a little bit long. We read the first sentence, which says, the hardest part of being prepared for an insider attack is that it probably means setting up your systems completely differently than they are currently configured, and to also add stronger authentication and authorization controls into every part of your network. We find here a type of solutions to deal with inside attacks, and the solutions, as underlined, are setting up your systems differently and strengthening control and authentication and authorization. But what is the type of these solutions? It is the most difficult type, or as stated at the beginning of the paragraph, the hardest part. Thus, this paragraph is about the difficult type of solution to deal with the problem mentioned in the second paragraph. Finally, the last paragraph, paragraph 4, which is made up of 3 sentences, should be skimmed by reading its first and last sentences. The first sentence, which is again a little bit long, reveals that the easiest way to prepare for an inside attack, assuming the above changes are not made, is to greatly increase the amount of auditing you do and introduce after-the-fact log analysis to detect unauthorized access. So here we have another type of solution, but this time it is not the hardest, it is the easiest. It is to increase the amount of auditing to detect unauthorized access. The last sentence in the paragraph adds another easy solution, which is to run penetration tests. It says the other recommendation is to run penetration tests on your internal networks on a regular basis and make sure you are prepared for at least the easy to find problems. So far, we have known the main ideas in the passage and their organization. The organization flows as the following. Paragraph 1, which is the introduction, internet penetrations from inside the problem of trust among users, systems, and services. Paragraph 2, the problem, 2 parts. Paragraph 3, the hardest or the most difficult type of solution. Paragraph 4, the easiest type of solution. Notice that there isn't a conclusion in this passage because, as mentioned earlier, passages differ in their organization. Now, after skimming, we know the topic of each paragraph. Thus, when we are given a question that needs scanning, we will see how to match the topic of the question with the paragraph or paragraphs that include the same topic. Take question 1. Space is one of the hardest ways to be prepared for an inside attack. You have 4 choices. By reading the question, you see that it asks about one of the hardest ways to be prepared for an inside attack. So this is the topic of the question, the hardest ways. Can we match it with a paragraph that has the same topic? The answer is yes. Paragraph 3 discusses the same topic. Notice the matching process. Then we go to scan paragraph 3 to find the answer. As you see, there are 2 ways as highlighted, and the one mentioned as the first choice in the question is the second way. Therefore, answer A is the correct one. Let's take another question. Question 2. Running penetration tests on internal networks regularly is, and you have 4 choices. A quick way to get the answer here, if the reader is skilled and still remembers what he has skimmed accurately, is to directly move to the last sentence in the passage, since it has already been skimmed as the last sentence of the last paragraph. But let's suppose that the reader hasn't remembered the last sentence, or suppose that the sentence which contains the answer is not the last sentence. It is followed by other sentences as the highlight shows and was not read through skimming. Then based on our skimming, we need to practice matching topics before we start scanning. So, what is the topic of the question? Is it about a problem or a solution? Running penetration tests cannot be a problem. It is a solution. But of what kind? We are really asked to decide its type. Remember that we have already dissected the topics of the paragraphs in the passage. And we know that paragraph 2 shows the problem, while paragraphs 3 and 4 show the hard and easy solutions, respectively. So to know the type of the given solution, we should scan paragraph 3 and 4. The matching process then occurs as shown with paragraphs 3 and 4. But before we start scanning, we should first exclude extra choices. Choice D, which says that running penetration tests is a problem, should be excluded. Then, if you look at choice B, it mentions outside attacks which are not discussed in the passage. Therefore, it should also be excluded. We are left with 2 choices, A and C. Choice A states that running penetration tests is a difficult way or solution, and choice C says the opposite. Now, by starting scanning, we reach the answer as highlighted in red in paragraph 4, which shows itself as one of the easy solutions or the non-difficult ones. This means that choice C is the correct one. Before ending this lesson, remember that skimming and scanning are very important skills. We have so far illustrated them and their interrelation. Next week, we will start a new lesson about vocabulary and context. See you next time.